6 world titles. A career written in speed, fearlessness, and impossible saves. Then, one crash. One moment that ripped everything away.
Marc Márquez is down. He's gone again. Oh, that's a big crash. He's not saving that one. I hope he's all right because that's a fast one.
Is that 4 again?
It's 4 again. It's caught him out once more.
The surgeries failed. The pain never stopped. And what once looked like destiny began to look like a tragedy unfolding in real time. People said he was finished, that the king of MotoGP would never return. But in 2025, the rider they counted out delivered one of the greatest comebacks the sport has ever seen.
We come back too early, and then was my decision, so it was my mistake. I'm working very hard to be a stronger Marc.
This is the resurrection of Marc Márquez. Marc Márquez didn't grow into greatness, he grew with it. In Cervera, Spain, a 4-year-old boy was already leaning a minibike lower than physics should have allowed. While other kids hesitated, Marc attacked. Corners, dirt, asphalt, didn't matter. The instinct was there from the beginning. His father saw it, his brother Alex felt it, and anyone who watched him ride at local circuits knew this wasn't a normal kid. By 10, he was racing across Catalonia. By 15, he was on the world stage in the 125cc championship. He didn't win immediately, but he didn't need to. Some riders earn respect with trophies. Marc earned it with the way he pushed the bike, elbows out, shoulders nearly scraping the track. A style that looked reckless to some, but revolutionary to those who knew what they were watching. And in 2010, at just 17, the world got its first real taste of what he could do. 10 wins, 12 podiums, a 125cc World Championship. Not by chance, by sheer aggression and genius. Moto2 was supposed to slow him down. A heavier bike, a tougher field, a new set of challenges.
Oh, Marc Márquez has stalled on the grid! I do not believe it! More drama at the start of Marquez. He's going to be right towards the back of the field as Espargaro leads through turn 1. I do not believe it.
But Marc adapted instantly. In his rookie season, he finished second overall. In his second season, he dominated. 9 wins, 14 podiums, total control.
Marquez has got to be careful though. We've seen making your way back through the field can cause massive problems.
Yeah, I did a very big mistake on the start already when I put when I push the clutch and I put the first gear, I already feel something strange.
By the end of 2012, MotoGP wasn't just waiting for him. It needed him. At 20 years old, he stepped into the premier class with Repsol Honda. And immediately, the entire sport changed. A podium in his first race, a victory in his second, and by season's end, Marc Márquez became the youngest MotoGP world champion ever. He didn't just arrive, he announced himself. If 2013 shocked the paddock, 2014 terrified it. 10 consecutive wins to start the season, a level of dominance rarely seen in any motorsport. His saves became iconic. His lean angles defied the limits of modern bikes. His rivalry with veterans like Lorenzo and Rossi electrified the sport. And yet, he stayed hungry. Titles in 2016, 2017, 2018, then the masterpiece, 2019.
I'm living a dream. Of course, the emotions is like I'm living a dream because looks like every year we achieve our goal, we achieve our dream, and yeah, of course, honestly speaking, after Aragon, I start to imagine, I start to think already about the championship, but then I say this is not my mentality.
Out of 19 races, he finished on the podium 18 times. He scored more points than any rider in MotoGP history. It wasn't just dominance, it was control, absolute and undeniable. Marc Márquez had become the sport's most unstoppable force, a phenomenon, a nightmare for his rivals, and a legend in the making. But legends fall too. Jerez 2020, the opening race of a strange pandemic-hit season. Marc arrived as the overwhelming favourite, but in the early laps, a rare mistake sent him off track and back to 16th place. For most riders, that would have been the end, but Marc wasn't most riders. He carved through the field with impossible speed. 15th, 10th, 7th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. With each overtake, the impossible comeback felt real, until turn 3 struck back. The high side was violent, the kind that stops crowds, silences broadcasters, and makes even rivals hold their breath.
He's down!
Oh, and he's motor crossing. He's motor crossing. How about that? I did say it's only down to Marc Márquez to make a mistake. That's a big one.
as big as they come.
Marc's right arm snapped, a clean, brutal break. Hours later, surgeons patched the bone with a titanium plate. But Marc returned 6 days later, determined to race again. That decision changed everything. The plate broke, the damage deepened. A second surgery followed, then a third, this time for infection and a bone graft. A season that should have been his 7th title became a spiral into pain and uncertainty. For the first time, Marc Márquez couldn't race. He could only wait, hoping the sport wouldn't forget him.
We come back too early. The doctors, especially in that case, they allowed me to, or they say to me that will be not a problem, and then was my decision. In the end, the one that take the decision is the rider, so it was my mistake.
When he returned in 2021, he wasn't the same rider. His arm lacked strength, his rhythm was gone. Every race felt like a battle against his own body. At Jerez, the place that started it all, he crashed again in practice. Hard, too hard. He walked away, but the message was clear. This wasn't recovery, it was survival.
It's Marc Márquez who's gone down and the bike is a wreck.
The
What's
bike is
happened?
absolutely
Oh,
totaled.
goodness me.
Huge concern faces in Repsol Honda. Huge concern faces in the Marc Márquez camp. That motorcycle is absolutely totaled.
Still, he found flashes of his old brilliance. A victory at the Sachsenring, his 9th in a row there, a win that ended a 581-day drought. But the highs couldn't erase the lows. The crashes kept coming. 22 in a single year.
These guys don't ride with fear, Factor. You can't ride with fear at this level. Listen, he rolls back and then just took a little bit of weight off the front. Maybe not enough tension on the left-hand side of the tyre. It's been a long time since he's been on the left-hand side of the front tyre. But this was scary, super scary.
The Honda wasn't competitive anymore, and Marc had to override it just to stay inside the top 10. A dangerous strategy on a bike that didn't want to follow orders. Then came the worst blow, diplopia, double vision, a terrifying condition that had once nearly ended his Moto2 career. It returned and forced him out again. 2022 wasn't kinder, a terrifying crash in Indonesia, more injuries, more doubt. And finally, the decision no one saw coming, a 4th surgery, the most complex yet.
Super clash. What's happened to Marquez here? He tips it in. Whoa! Wow! Oh, dearie me! Unbelievable. The rear tyre just letting go in the most spectacular fashion. That is, oh, dearie me.
Surgeons cut into his arm, rotated the bone nearly 30 degrees and rebuilt it once more. A surgery that could save his career or end it forever. He had one question in his mind. Is this worth it? Loyalty kept him with Honda. Gratitude held him there. They had given him his debut, his titles, his dynasty. But loyalty has limits, and pain does too. The Honda could no longer compete. Ducati dominated. KTM and Aprilia surged. Honda stayed still. Marc was crashing more than anyone on the grid. 28 times in one season. Every fall took something from him, not just physically, but mentally. He was 30. MotoGP isn't a sport of long careers. You get your years, you get your chances, and they don't come back. Marc had waited for Honda to fix the bike. They didn't. He waited for a breakthrough. It never came. And eventually, after nights staring at ceilings, after replaying crashes in his mind, after realizing he couldn't keep destroying his body for a bike that wouldn't evolve, he made the hardest decision of his life. Marc Márquez would leave Honda. 11 years, 6 world titles, countless victories, gone.
Yeah, as you say, the season was super difficult. I mean, especially last week was super hard about the emotional side. We have 11 years with a very good relationship and success relation. So this is the most important.
And then the shock that shook the paddock. He would join Gresini Ducati, a privateer team, a year-old GP23.
I want to prove to myself, or I want to answer the question if I'm competitive. And to answer that question was trying to find the best bike on the grid. That was Ducati.
To make the move, he walked away from a €25 million contract. Not for money, not for legacy, but because he wanted to feel like a racer again.
My target, I just forget the relationships, the money, the history. I say, okay, I want to just answer that question.
Valencia, post-season testing. The paddock watched him closely as he climbed onto the Ducati for the first time. The visor dropped, the engine ignited, and within minutes, the timing screens lit up, sector after sector, lap after lap. Marc Márquez was near the top of the charts on a bike he'd ridden for less than an hour. But more important than speed was the expression on his face, a smile, the first real one in years. In 2024, everything changed. Jerez, podium. Germany's podium with Alex, a moment that felt like fate. Then the victories, Aragon, Misano, Phillip Island, 3 wins. On a bike that wasn't even the newest model. But hunger doesn't care about machinery. And Marc was starving.
5 kilometres left then for Marc Márquez as he starts the final lap of his home Grand Prix, over 5 seconds clear of Jorge Martin.
Thailand set the tone. Pole, sprint win, Grand Prix victory. A performance that screamed, "I'm back!" Alex on the podium beside him. And Marquez 1-2, and from there the momentum didn't stop. Victory after victory, fight after fight. The elbows came out again, the swagger returned, the danger returned. 11 Grand Prix wins, 14 sprint victories on a year-old bike. By the time the championship reached Motegi, the math was simple: finish second, he did. And the world felt the weight of it.
Marc Márquez is the 2025 MotoGP World Champion. He hit rock bottom, but he's risen to the top once again and clinches his 7th MotoGP World Championship.
Marc Márquez, after surgeries, pain, darkness, doubt, and years of fearing his own body, was MotoGP World Champion again. Not because he was unstoppable, but because he refused to be broken.
This is going to feel like the weight of the world has been lifted off his shoulders, because finally, after 6 long years, we can say once again in the same sentence, Marc Márquez, MotoGP World Champion.
But here's the truth about comebacks. They don't end with a trophy. A champion rebuilt from pain is more dangerous than ever, and Marc Márquez isn't looking back. He's looking at the next corner. If you like this video, please like and hit that subscribe button for more great racing stories that are more than speed.